Okay. And I will be sending you the recording of today's presentation as well. So hopefully, good thing I didn't get too far into the weeds of all of this before recording. So, all right, enough about me. I am here for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I've got probably about an hour's worth of content that I'm going to be giving you. We did carve this out for 90 minutes. So we've got plenty of time for lots of questions after the fact. And again, like I said, for those of you that just joined us, stay till the end because there is a giveaway and an opportunity for you to win a $100 golf, Top Golf gift certificate. All right, launching right in. Let's talk a little bit about what we believe to know is true when it comes to social media for realtors and those within the real estate industry as well. So, a lot of what I work with is realtors, but also people within title, also people within the mortgage industry as well. So, what I think we could all agree upon is the fact that having a really good, solid social media brand and presence and strategy can absolutely help build credibility about you as a professional. The one thing that I always say is you do not want to discount the power that your online presence has to those eyeballs that are checking you out because people do research you and they do check you out and they will be influenced on how you show up. So are you showing up as a brand, a profession that looks like they know how to invest in their overall online presence? Or are you kind of just putting it out there and, hoping what they see is enough to give them a positive impression? But think about your competitive advantage, right? You have very strong competition out there. So it doesn't take a lot for you to exceed that competitive advantage if you do invest some time in your online social media brand and presence. And there is millions of data sets that are being mined by these social media platforms. And if you know how to leverage the data that is being stored by these social media platforms, that is where you can really start to see some significant return on your targeted social media marketing efforts. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that targeted approach as well. And I believe we can all agree that it does generate leads, helps you win that deal. I cannot emphasize enough on how much your online social media brand and presence could influence your next deal. I have had realtors that have contacted me and said, Karen, I need you to help me get my social media brand and strategy to the next level because I literally lost a deal. I was in a listing appointment and they said, look, we like you. But we looked at you and we looked at Nancy and Nancy's online presence, her marketing, her social media, her entire brand just looks much more impressive to us. And we feel that she would be the best person to go with in helping the marketing of our home, right? So these are things that people take into consideration. So if you've never Googled yourself, go to an incognito window and Google yourself and see how you show up because that's how the rest of the potential new business is looking at you as well. So here's what I get all the time. I hear what you're saying, Karen, but I just can't seem to get it to work. Or I'm really busy. I've got multiple jobs or I've got little kiddos. And now you're telling me that I've got to find some time to incorporate social media into all of this as well. When am I going to be able to do that? Or I'm on it all the time. I'm posting, I'm posting, I'm posting. I call this mistaking activity for progress because you may be on there and you may be posting, but is it actually activity that is taking you towards a particular goal? Probably not, right? So the two things that cause you to either be in complete avoidance or hamster on the wheel. One, you do not have a social media marketing strategy. And two, you don't have the simple steps on how to execute that strategy. And I can't see you, but you're probably all shaking your head as well. Wouldn't it be nice for you to have a social media marketing strategy where when you sit down at your computer, you grab your coffee or tea and you just simply check off those few simple tasks that you should be doing on a consistent basis, but not any task. The task that is going to help you actually become visible to the community that you are wanting to attract through an effective and efficient social media marketing strategy. That is what I'm going to teach you here today through these 8 hacks. Hack number 1, which honestly, this hack is if you do nothing else out of this presentation today, this first hack is the most important one that you really need to invest some time in. And I will explain why. Because hack number one is what I call know your audience. So I'm going to basically take off my social media marketing hat. I'm going to put that down. And now I'm picking up my sales and marketing 101 hat. Because the importance of understanding how to influence these social media marketing platforms is no different than how you are influencing consumers through very effective sales and marketing campaign. Because if you think about it, there's no marketing campaign that is ever written without fully understanding first who the ideal consumer is of that product. I always say you're never going to see a mom doing yoga, right, on the cover of a sugary cereal box. That's not their demographic. They've got the little leprechauns and Tony the Tiger, because that is who it is that they are wanting to attract. And that is what you have to invest some time in and consider, who is it ideally that you want to attract as a result of using social media. And this is an exercise that you can do once you get off of the webinars. Pull out a piece of paper and write down the names of what we call your top 10 perfect clients. So what's a perfect client? These are repeat customers. They refer business to you. You almost feel as if you have a personal relationship with them. Write these names down, the top 10, and then what I want you to look at is consistency in those names. What starts to bubble up to the top in terms of what we call demographics, and then also something called psychographics. So demographics are things like age, race, gender, marital status, geography. Are you seeing that there is a lot of similarity with clients that you have been attracting in the past that have similar, maybe they are first-time home buyers, they're parents with the little kiddos, or maybe they are downsizing, might be the baby boomers that you're seeing is bubbling up to the top. Then the other thing that you want to look at is something that's called psychographics. Psychographics are things like hobbies, right? Interests, lifestyle. How do they spend their time and their money? If it's the baby boomers downsizing and transitioning into the second half of their life, they are probably more into the golf or the pickleball or the travel, right? They've got a little bit more free time. If it's the younger first-time home buyers, parents, newlyweds, they're probably investing the bulk of their time with the activities of those kids, taking the kids around, or just, figuring it out how to juggle everything that parents are trying to do if they also have professions. The importance of understanding this ideal perfect client is, again, going back to the marketing, right? It then allows you to start to craft a social media marketing campaign to specifically attract that demographic. So when I talk about this bullseye here, if you think of the analogy of the dartboard, right? The wider rings and then the smaller and then the bullseye. The bullseye is what we are talking about identifying here. And the bullseye is so important for you to start to see some significant return on your efforts. Because if you are not clear on who you want to attract, the algorithm isn't going to be clear, the search engines aren't going to be clear. None of those things are going to help you become an extension of your marketing efforts if you aren't clear on who it is that you want to attract. And I'm going to explain all of that and how this all really ties into things like algorithm and search engine. And then the other thing that becomes really effective for you is once you do start to hone in on who your ideal client is, then you can start to think about, well, what are some of the significant pains or problems that you can help solve specific to that particular bullseye? So again, first-time home buyers, they may have no clue around credit score. They may have no clue that there's specific lending programs out there for them. They may have no clue about what a down payment is that they require. Maybe they don't even know that they can afford a home right now. Or the baby boomers, they may be so overwhelmed with a home that they've lived in for 30, 40, 50 years that they're just in avoidance. But you could show up because you have identified ways for them to be able to address all of the things that they've accumulated over the years, and just show up as someone that is not just about the, hey, let me help you buy your home or sell your home. You want to show up as something that adds value beyond just that particular title. Because again, it's all about competitive advantage, right? So you can kind of see that if you're trying to sort of be a real estate professional to kind of everybody, that makes it very difficult for you to be able to craft a conversation and identify what the specific needs are of that particular demographic. And a big question or concern that I get all the time from my clients is, okay, Karen, I think I'm starting to understand. You're telling me that I need to get really clear on my bullseye and stop trying to just attract in anybody. But what if I do want to attract a particular bullseye, but I don't just want to work with that particular bullseye or demographic? Totally get it. And it makes perfect sense, because a lot of times when I ask my clients, ideally, who is it that you are wanting to attract? I get the, anybody with a pulse, right? Makes perfect sense when it comes to business development. Does not work for you when it comes to social media marketing. And again, I will explain why. And it doesn't mean that you won't work with people that are outside of those bullseye in the outer rings. What it means is that you are going to start to become incredibly visible to that particular bullseye, and it will then start to ripple out into the other rings of that particular dartboard. But right now, if you're just kind of, posting and praying, and you're trying to just be that real estate professional to everybody, you're not being seen. So what this will do is it will help you become incredibly visible and start to get you to be seen and start to get some engagement, reach, and exposure, and actual leads that you can convert into a client. And then another benefit of you being clear on your bullseye is also then thinking about what are some of the other resources that you could start to partner with and incorporate into your showing up as a real estate professional that is more than just the listing agent or the buyer's agent. So again, if you can surround yourself with professionals that also cater to that particular bullseye, if it's lenders that work with first-time home buyers or credit repair, or estate planners, or people that do estate sales for those baby boomers, the more that you get clear on your bullseye and your who, the way easier it's going to be for you to start to put together this strategy. You can see how it'd be kind of exhausting if you're just trying to be out there and attracting, on everybody, because this will allow you to really start to hone in and have that very specific conversation with that particular perfect client that you are wanting to attract. And look, I've been doing this for 14 years, and I will tell you, every single time that I have seen the greatest return on efforts when it comes to this bullseye attraction strategy is like attracts like. It's organic, it's natural. I do a lot of these exercises with my clients, and they're shocked when they see what bubbles up to the top, because they naturally have been attracting those types of clients, because that's been sort of naturally their sort of interest as well. If you're younger, you probably are going to be attracting the younger demographic. If you're older, probably attracting the older demographic as well. So a couple of case studies to tie into what I was just talking about. This is Joe. We call him Joe, the realtor for pet lovers. Now, Joe was based out of Marina del Rey, California, and he wasn't an experienced, seasoned realtor. He had been only in real estate for a little over a year, and he hadn't done a whole lot of transactions. And so we didn't have this list of top 10 that he could write down. So the alternative for any of you that are listening that might be new, if you don't have, a lot of top 10 names that you can write down, the alternative is to look at you and what are your interests? What's your lifestyle? And so we did that for Joe. I said, tell me more about you. He said, well, I'm a newlywed and my wife and I absolutely love pets. We foster kittens, we donate time and shelters and all of this kind of stuff. And I said, fantastic. How do you feel about us branding you as a realtor for pet lovers? And he was like, can we do that? I said, we can do anything we want to. I mean, here's the beautiful thing. There's no social media police, right? So that's what we did. And all of his branding, everything had the paw prints, and it became very, very clear in all of his branding who he wanted to attract. And he actually took it one step further. He had a little Jetta car. He traded that in for a 4Runner, turned it into what we call the pet lovers caravan. So he had literally the leashes, the treats, the the water. He had a cat carrier. He literally called me a couple of years after working with him and said, Karen, I took a cat around looking at listings. So you don't want to discount the power of those pet lovers, right? And then he took it upon himself to really identify all of the best parks, the HOA breed restrictions, really like allowed himself to become present as the realtor for pet lovers. That was his bullseye, right? And then if you remember, I said, if you can get clear on a bullseye, think about the other businesses that also cater to that same demographic. So if you see the list on the right-hand side, I taught him how to take his social media platforms and connect his platforms and pages with those other pages of businesses that also cater to that demographic. So the local vets and groomers and dog walkers and pet stores. Yeah. So he was able to show up not just as the realtor, he would say, hey, not only am I going to support you and all of your fur babies, but here's an entire list of here's 3 vets I have vetted. Here's 5 groomers in the area. But then here's what happens. Once you start to give love and support and start referring these other types of businesses in your geographical area, it starts to become reciprocated, right? The law of reciprocity. If you are showing love to businesses on a consistent basis, they're going to turn around and start to do the same. So that was also a huge part of Joe's strategy. He was being given leads from these other professionals that also catered to that same bullseye. Now, another bullseye that's really important for you to think about, and I talk more about this in a couple of slides, is your other bullseye is your geographical pocket. So for Joe, while he was like, so, pretty much Los Angeles, he went from north, south, LA, way too broad. We honed him in on his bullseye as Marina Del Rey. He did business all over, but that was the geographical pocket that he started to dominate and show up for pet lovers as the realtor to the Marina Del Rey area. That's what you want to think about as well, is you want to think about your bullseye of your who and your bullseye of your where. And Joe, within less than 3 years, became the number 2 agent in his office. Not because I'm a magician, but because I taught him how to use these social media platforms in a very effective, strategic way. Stop trying to be an everything to everybody and just invest your time on attracting your bullseye. And this is another case study. This is Sandy. Sandy's based out of Dallas, Texas. Now, Sandy had been a realtor for quite a while when she hired me as her coach. And we did the exercise of looking at the top 10 clients, and what bubbled up to the top for her, which she was very surprised about and hadn't even realized that she had been attracting this demographic, was single divorced moms with little kids. Well, guess what Sandy was? Single divorced mom with little kids. So I'm telling you, you don't want to discount the power of like attracting like. Just it happens just organically. It's what we attract. And so Sandy took it one step further and she hired a bonded licensed babysitter, because when you can get clear on your who, that's when you can really get clear on what is the pain and the problem that they are dealing with, and how can you step outside of your traditional role to show up in a way that will help them deal with these problems that they might be struggling with when it comes to either selling or buying a new home. So she was able to say, look, I understand your challenge. How are you going to get this house ready for market? You've got these kids running around. Or how are you going to go look at properties when you've got these 3 little kids in tow? Let them stay with my hired bonded licensed babysitter so that I can help you stay focused on getting the job done and task. And so that was a huge win, right? Because she understood who her bullseye was, and she was able to then show up in a way and add even more value. And then she went on doing things like pamper spa days and mom's night out, because she would have the kids come and her licensed babysitters would come. And so she was able to really start to continue to show up and add value in front of that particular bullseye. And then on the right-hand side, if you see that there are professionals that also cater to the single divorced moms with the kids. So I taught her how to connect her social media platforms with those other professionals and really start to leverage that, so that she was getting referrals from these other professionals and she was able to refer business to them as well. So hopefully that kind of gives you sort of some wheels are turning here. You might be thinking about ways for you to, what is your bullseye going to look like? So now we're actually going to hack number 2. So I'm going to take off my sales and marketing hat. I'm going to put my social media hat back on. And now I'm going to tell you why it's so important that all of that information that I just helped you start to realize in carving out your bullseye, why that is so important for you to know that as step one before you start applying it to social media. Because in hack number 2 is called feed the algorithms. So in every social media platform, there's 2 markets that you always want to make sure you are taking into consideration. There's the market that knows about you. So those are your friends, your family members, your followers. We call those the buyer, right? Then you've got those that don't know about you. They are in social media land. They are possibly searching for your service. They just don't know about you yet. And we call those the browsers. There is one component in every single social media platform that controls how you show up in front of either one of these markets. And that is this infamous, mysterious man called the algorithm. It really isn't very mysterious. It's a formula that is written, it is running behind the scenes, and the algorithm in every social media platform has one primary goal, and that goal is to make sure that it keeps the user community happy. Because if they're unhappy, then they start to leave, right? So the way that it ensures that it keeps the community happy is by ensuring that the information that shows up on the newsfeed of every single user is right in alignment with what every user has an interest in. So you and I are dictating all day long what we see show up on our newsfeed because we tend to post about and engage with content that is very much in alignment with what our interests are, right? So very big brother, our phones are even listening to us now. But if you understand how to leverage all of that information that Zuckerberg is spending millions of dollars on what's called predictive behavior analytics, because when you log in, the information on your newsfeed is very intentional. It's all based on what you've told the algorithm you want to see. So once the algorithm gets a sense of what your interests are, it actually goes and scans the millions of business pages looking for business pages that produce content that it thinks might be right in alignment with what you have an interest in. The challenge is most business owners are using their social media pages to be all about them, right? And in everything to everybody. Well, the algorithm doesn't have a profile called an everybody. So you have to help it understand who it is that you are wanting to attract so that it can start to show your information to that particular user community. The algorithm wants to be an extension of your marketing efforts. It's just you have to understand what it needs in order to be able to do that. So what happens is once the algorithm goes and scans your business page, there's 5 questions that it is looking to get answers to: who you are, what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and where you do it. The who you do it for and the where you do it, those are the 2 questions that we tend to neglect all the time, right? We'll talk about who we are and how great we are and how we do it and all about us, all about our industry. We don't really invest a whole lot of time in identifying who it is that we do all of this for and where they are. Remember your 2 bullseyes, your who and your where. So there's 3 places on your Facebook business page that the algorithm goes to get the answers to these 5 questions. One is the name and the designation that you've given your page. So you definitely want to make sure that you are putting in keywords in the name, your username and your profile name, so that the algorithm and search engine are going to know, right, who you are and what you do. And then the second and third place that the algorithm goes to get the answers to those 5 questions is the description of your profile picture and the description of this header banner picture. So most of you probably, if you'd hopped over and looked to see if you've got anything in description of those 2 profile or header image, you probably don't, but that's okay because you didn't know that that is a critical area where you can feed the algorithm with the answers to those 5 questions. So I do recommend that you write out a social media bio. That's what our team does for our clients. Write out with all of the right keywords, answering those questions, relevant hashtags, call to actions, all of those things. So take some time and write that out so that you are giving the algorithm the information that it needs to start to connect you up with the right user community. And just a side note, Alan, when he hired me to help optimize his social media presence and brand, he just had a picture of a house as the header banner image, which is very common. But then I discovered that he is an accredited military relocation specialist based out of Virginia. And I was like, Alan, we need to make sure that your header banner picture is communicating that the minute that people visit your page, you don't want to discount the amount of information that that header banner can either be giving or not be giving to the visitors of your page. So for those of you that haven't gone through that process, check out your header banner picture and think about what you can be doing to help communicate through the text and the visual graphics, you know, who it is that you are wanting to attract as well. Canva has some fantastic templates on there as well. And then this is Troy. He's actually here in Denver, another realtor that hired me to help him with his social media brand and strategy. He works more out of the like Airbnb mountain properties, right? So we wanted that to be communicated in his header banner picture as well. And he's got lots of keywords in his Facebook name as well. The other thing too, on Instagram, exact same thing applies. Make sure that your bio has all of the relevant keywords. Your name, Instagram name has all of the relevant keywords, because this is all influencing the algorithm and the search engine in both Facebook and Instagram as well. So take some time optimizing the bio of your Instagram page too, because again, if you're just saying I'm a realtor and this is where I do it, if you're not really identifying the who as well, you're missing out on the algorithm helping your content to show up in front of that particular demographic as well. And there's several more hacks that I'm going to show you on how you can also leverage features in Facebook and Instagram to really show up in front of your bullseye also. All right, hack number 3 is something that I call pack your news feed. So when you log into Facebook, right, we're all very familiar with this. You log into Facebook and you go to your news feed by default. And what is your news feed providing you? Your news feed is providing you with posts from all of your Facebook friends, right? Makes sense. You hang out there, you like some posts, you comment on some, you might even share some to your personal Facebook page as well. Well, your Facebook business page has the exact same thing. It's got a news feed. But the difference is your business page newsfeed doesn't show you posts from your friends. It shows you posts from the other pages that your business page has liked or followed. So this strategy is really, really important in helping you execute what I call a content and community engagement strategy. Because a big misconception that a lot of Facebook and Instagram users have is they feel as if the best use of these platforms is to go on and just push a bunch of information out and then walk away. Well, that is not helping you. That's actually hurting you, because 50% of what the algorithm looks at is, does the content on your page that you're posting add value to the community? Meaning, do you get likes and comments and shares? And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the other 50% is, it looks at, are you a business that supports the other businesses on the platform as well? And this strategy, this hack that I'm going to teach you, is one that will really help you to start to gain the attention of the algorithm, because this is how you show up as supporting this particular social media community, and not just any community. There are 3 different types of business pages that you want to make sure you are liking and following. Now, not as your personal Facebook account. This is everything that I'm teaching you here today. I want you to be only to be doing as your business page. So you probably all know, if you are on Facebook and you have a Facebook business page, you can switch between your personal and your business, right? So make sure everything that you're doing, that you're learning here today, if you go back and apply it yourself, please do not do this as your personal Facebook, because it doesn't help you to show up as an individual. The whole goal here is to help you to start to become visible and show up as your business. So switch over to your business page. And then once you've switched over, there's 3 different types of business pages that I want you to search for and like and follow as your business page. The first category, number 1, are all of the businesses that you currently work with. So if there is a lender you work with, title, a photographer, videographer, anybody that you work with that helps you effectively do your job, you better make sure that your social media business pages are liking and following those pages as well. And then the second type of business pages are those that provide what we call relevant content. Now, not relevant content about you and your industry, right? It's the relevant content that your bullseye would be interested in. So these are things like magazines, media sources, blog articles, influencers, and again, not about you and the real estate world, because that's probably what most of you are all posting about, and it's not being seen because it's kind of snoozer content, because most people are not really interested in seeing information about real estate show up on their newsfeed unless they happen to be actively searching at that time. But that is not what social media is about. Social media is about you showing up on the newsfeed of a community that you want to start to build an awareness with and a relationship with. And if all you're doing is talking about you and your industry, they don't care. And the algorithm knows that. So it's not showing your content to people because your content is not adding value. So how do you add value? How do you show up on the newsfeed of a community that adds value so the algorithm will start to show your content to the right people in your bullseye and even those that are outside of your bullseye? It's all about adding value. So think about the businesses, business pages that provide relevant content. So if we go back to the analogy of Joe, the realtor to pet lovers, right? Do you think that most of the content that Joe posted about was real estate? No, it was all about pets because he found all of the fantastic business pages in Facebook that provided content that was very, very value added information. That was the bulk of what he posted. It was almost an oh, by the way conversation that he was a realtor because it's all about adding value first. And you know this, you walk into a networking event, you don't walk around and just start talking about you and what you do and how great you are at it. These social media platforms are no different. You want to take some time getting to know the people in the room. What is their interest? What are they like? What are they possibly needing that you could help them with? The social media platforms are no different. That's the difference between you being kind of a tree falls in the woods scenario when you're posting versus getting a lot of attention and engagement. And then the third category are your local businesses. So these are businesses in your bullseye, right? That you want to make sure that you are following because one, when you go into your newsfeed as your business page, when you switch over and you go to your newsfeed, when you have liked all of these different types of businesses that are very relevant and strategic, every time they post, you're going to see their post show up on your newsfeed. So that gives you an opportunity to start to engage with their posts, like or comment, or maybe even find a great article that you want to share onto your business page. But every time you engage with a post, the owner and originator of that post gets notified. And it's not just you as a Facebook individual that they will see, right? It's you as the business page name. That's why your business starts to become very visible to these other businesses as well. And then just like I was saying with Sandy and Joe as an example, it starts to become reciprocated. So if you are in title or in lending, this is amazing strategy for you because you could be showing love to all of the realtors that are all over social media and posting. And if you're going in and grab your coffee or tea and you say, I'm just going to spend 10 minutes on my news feed showing love to all of these posts that are showing up, they are constantly getting dinged and notified that you are showing them love. And over time, they're like, I got to show some love back to this awesome, realtor or whomever it is. So you don't want to discount the power of this content and community engagement portion. It's not just about pushing information out and walking away. A big piece is pushing information, but then also supporting the other businesses. And the other big misconception is a lot of people feel as if they have to create their own content. That is not true because a big part of sharing other Facebook business pages posts onto your page, that's that whole showing love and support, right? To other businesses. The algorithm picks up on that. Plus, if you are finding content that other businesses do and do really well and possibly even better than you ever could, why not just leverage that? If that post has gotten tons of likes and comments and shares, that means that post is adding a lot of value to the Facebook user community. So when you share that onto your page, the chances are it's going to get a very similar type of reaction as well. Side note here, don't share posts that have no engagement, because obviously there's a reason why it has no engagement. It's not adding value. So if you have to choose between one that you might like but has no engagement versus another that you kind of like but has tons of engagement, let the community do the talking, right? Share the post that has the high engagement, because that's the one that's going to get you the most reach and engagement, and kind of continue on that sort of engagement ripple effect as well. Same thing basically applies when it comes to dominating your local community. One of the things that you can do in Facebook for hack number 4, so that you really have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in that bullseye, is in Facebook, there is something that's called a places page for every geographical area. So all you have to do is go into Facebook, put in the geographical name in the search box in Facebook, and then the results on the left-hand side, there's something that's called places. Click on places, and then on the right-hand side, the results will be the places page. So I use Denver, Colorado as an example. That's basically where I'm located. However, working with my clients in Denver, I still don't let them do Denver as their bullseye. It's still way too broad. There's lots more smaller pockets to dominate, and it's a lot easier, as you could probably start to, see now, that if you're broad, it's going to be really hard for you to get very passionate, knocking over my glass of water. It's going to be hard for you to, find information relevant if you're really all over the place. The more narrow you get, the easier it's going to be for you to execute this strategy. So when you go to the places page in Facebook, it's literally serving up to you everything that is going on in that geographical pocket. So there's a where to go section that's pulling in all of the businesses, broken down by sightseeing, shopping, nightlife, museum, outdoor. Those are probably business pages that you want to make sure that you are following, because, hey, if there's a great new special, or there's a new coffee shop that's opened up, or there's an event, the next section is all about the events that are going on in your geographical area. This is fantastic information for you to be sharing onto your page as well. And then the bottom section of that page, the places page, has groups. So groups, not just anywhere, but groups in that geographical pocket, and groups broken down into all different types of categories. There's gardening and landscaping, there's travel, there's Volkswagens, I don't know. Anyways, all very niche, relevant Facebook groups. But this is a fantastic page for you to visit as a part of your coffee or tea in the morning. Go to your places page, see what's going on in your geographical pocket. Helps you become very, very aware and visible. And, when you're out and about in the town and you run into somebody, you can say, oh yeah, I heard that, the new coffee shop is opening up next week, or, Jack and Jill's burger stand is closing. Maybe people won't know about that, but if you're visiting this page on a consistent basis, you definitely are going to be one that's going to kind of be in the know of what's going on in that local area. And then hack number 5 is called join Facebook groups. So Facebook groups are a very effective way for you as a business, right? As a business professional, not your individual, to show up in front of the members of those groups. So up until this point, we've talked a lot about business pages. These are now groups. The difference is business pages are wide open in public, groups are private. You can't engage or see content unless your request to join the groups has been accepted. And you don't want to join groups that are relevant to you and your industry. I mean, you can, but that's not getting you in front of a potential clientele database, right? That's getting you in front of your competition. So think about joining groups that are relevant to your bullseye, your who and your where. Very easy to find. Again, you go into Facebook, you put in your who and your where name in the search box, and then filter on groups, and you'll find all of the private groups in Facebook that contain that particular niche that you are wanting to attract. Very important that you do switch over to your business page when you do this searching, because the search results will be different. If you are searching as an individual, Facebook the group results will be different versus you searching as a business. You want to make sure you search as a business because not all groups will be made available for you to join as a business page. But again, if you're joining very relevant Facebook groups, when you go to your newsfeed in Facebook as your business, every post that's done in the groups that you are a member of, you're going to see them right on your newsfeed. So you don't have to go into each individual separate group to see what's going on. You'll actually see the activity right on your newsfeed. So another way for you to engage and post your own information in there, comment on them, because again, everything that you do will be as your business page. So your business name and brand is what all of the members of the group will see, not your individual personal Facebook name. So again, you got to see why it's important. I'm kind of beating it. Make sure you switch over. Don't do this as your personal Facebook. Do it as your business. All right, hack number 6 is use hashtags. So I get a lot of, well, I thought hashtags were spammy, or I thought they were just like a Twitter X thing or just an Instagram thing. They are not spammy, and they are not just an Instagram, Twitter X thing. They are a Facebook and Instagram thing. And they are very, very important because they can help your content be increased. The visibility of your content can be increased up to 45, sometimes 65%. The reason for that is every single hashtag in Facebook and Instagram has their own dedicated individual page, which shows every single post that contains that particular hashtag. So what I highly suggest is that you have the ability to use a maximum of 30 hashtags in all of your posts. Max out the 30, because that will allow your content to not only show up on your business page, but on all of those other 30 hashtag pages as well. But here's the thing that's really important about this 30 is you don't want them to just be all about you and what you do. That is not helping you show up in front of your bullseyes, right? You're just showing up in front of your competition. So you want a percentage of the 30 to be about you and what it is that you do. The other percentage is you want it to be hashtags relevant to who you do it for and hashtag relevant to where you do it. So in this example, I'm using hashtag Denver Mom. So if I was a realtor wanting to attract that demographic, I would have that hashtag in all of my posts I would be using, but I would also be visiting those bullseye relevant hashtag pages as well. Because every time you visit that page, you're going to see all of the posts that contain that particular hashtag. So these are fantastic resource pages for you. So you might find content on there that you want to share onto your page. You might even find other groups that you didn't find in your search efforts that you want to join. You might even find other business pages that you didn't find in your initial search efforts that you might want to follow and engage with content. So this is taking you from sort of, pushing out content for, fingers crossed, hopefully everybody, to you being much more intentional and strategic about getting in front of the demographic and community that you want to show up in front of. So you can kind of see why I was saying step number 1 is the most important that you have to do, because none of these other steps are really going to help you if you're not clear on your who and your where. And then on Instagram, same thing is applicable on Instagram when it comes to hashtags. Use 30, max them all out in all of your posts, and then go to those relevant bullseye hashtag pages. Now, the thing that Instagram does that I like that Facebook doesn't do, but in Instagram, when you go to the hashtag pages, Instagram sort of filters out the posts that contain that hashtag and only shows you what it considers to be a top post. So the top posts are considered top because it is based on either the amount of followers that Instagram account has or the amount of engagement that post has. So this is a fantastic resource page for you to go to. Click on these posts that are showing up as the top posts. And again, you might find pages you want to follow. This is a very strategic way for you to increase your Instagram following when you are going and following those that are serving and relevant to your bullseye, they're going to eventually start to follow you back and engage with your content as well. So visit these Instagram pages as well, the hashtag pages in Instagram as well. And then also in Instagram and Facebook just launched this as a new feature as well, is you can follow these top 30 strategic hashtags. So I do suggest that you follow all of your hashtags, because what that's going to do is help your newsfeed start to populate with a lot of relevant information as well. Because when you are using hashtags that people follow, that means that your post will not only show up on your page, they will also show up on the Instagram hashtag pages and Facebook hashtag pages, but now they could also show up on the newsfeed of the Facebook and Instagram users that are following those hashtags as well, because users do follow hashtags. So if you're not using hashtags, you can see how you're really missing out on this whole other opportunity for you to show up in front of this community, but not just any community, the community that you want to, that you are specifically wanting to attract as a part of using the social media. All right, hack number 7 is Reels. So we all know that in social media, you've got 3 different types of content that you can be putting on your pages. You've got one type of content is posts. So those are either a single static image, multiple static images, or videos, or you can do stories, or you can do Reels. So if you are like, I do not have time to do all 3, then just do Reels, because Reels literally is what the algorithm is giving the most preferential treatment to right now. Reels can get you up to a 500% increase in views. And again, it is just what the algorithm prefers to show to the community, because the community is telling the algorithm that that is their preference of type of content. Now, I do still recommend, if you can, create all of the different variables of content type, because some people hang out on the news feed and all they want to do is look at posts, and some people hang out in the stories, which that's not on news feed, right? That's either at the top in boxes on Facebook or circles in Instagram, or they hang out in Reels. I've lost hours of my time in Reels that I will never get back, but I kind of get sucked into the Reels. So, it's just grabbing your phone and recording on video something that is going on. I get a lot of, I know I should be on video, I just don't want my face to be on video. And I'm basically like, well, you just got to get over it, because people want to see you, right? They want to connect with you. They want to relate with you as a person. The difference between a reel that has some sort of inanimate object or a room versus you is 100x greater. You need to be in it. And you don't have to be in it the whole time, but at least present yourself at some point in it. This is Katrina. She does not do a whole lot of content on real estate. She is very much about mindset and motivation. That's what she does, but she's gained a very impressive following, because she almost has that kind of, oh, by the way, conversation. I am also in real estate, but she's been able to attract that, right? Like attracts like, that community that is also interested in her, because this is just her being natural. So grab your phone, start taking video, put it into a reel. Do not overthink it. Do not feel as if it's got to be high production value. Do like, a day in the life of kind of a thing. I've one agent recently that all she did was she started out with a video of herself. And she just said, I'd love to share with you how my day went today. And then the rest of the reel was her literally just taking her video of every time she pushed a lockbox of every home. She kind of zoomed in lockbox. She showed like 5 homes that day. And then at the end, she was just like, let's unlock some boxes together. I love doing this. So it's just thinking about how can I incorporate what I'm doing anyways, right? And pull that into content. And you will start to see definitely the results and the increase in your reach and exposure and engagement, just because you are starting to incorporate you and your lifestyle into the video, which is Reels. All right, last hack number 8 is something that I call share to your story. So remember how I was saying you've got posts that show up on newsfeed, reels that show up in the reel section, and then you've got stories which show up at the top section of the Facebook and Instagram, either on the laptop or in the mobile device. And the best strategy for you to start to leverage the stories is just simply share other people's content to your story. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to be in the creation lab trying to create your own stories all the time. Leverage other people's content. And as you see something on your newsfeed that's relevant to your bullseye, your local bullseye, or your demographic that you're wanting to attract, just start to share that information into your story. Keep it simple. These 3 examples that I have here, these are all realtor clients of mine. This first one is she basically just shared that there's a new restaurant that's opening up in the local area. The middle one is the broke agent, which is hysterical. If you're not following them, you should, because they're hysterical. And then the far right one is, again, it was just a Christmas holiday performance that she just simply shared into the story as well. The thing that I like about sharing other people's content into your story is that it always keeps the originator with that story. You can't strip content away from the originator when you share it into your story. So you're helping, right, promote that other Instagram account or Facebook account, and they get notified every single time that you share their content into your story. So again, it's all that law of reciprocity. Eventually, they're going to start to show love back to you and share your content as well. And it all takes a village, right? So don't overthink what you're supposed to be putting into your stories. A lot of what you put onto your page as a post, you can toss your own stuff into stories as well. But a lot of times you're going to start to see some real increase in viewership of your stories if a lot of the percentage of what you're tossing in there is not just about you, but about what's going on and what's going to be of interest to your who and your where at the same time. Okay, lots of information there. So let's go ahead and recap this. Step number 1 is know your audience. This is absolutely the most critical step out of all of these hacks. If you do not know who it is that you are wanting to attract, your bullseye, your who and your where, you can kind of see how all these other 7 steps really won't help you if you're not clear on your bullseyes. Step number 2 is feed the algorithm. So make sure that you have optimized your pages. You've written out that social media bio, answering those 5 questions and populating in all the appropriate areas. Hack number 3 is pack your newsfeed. So follow all of those relevant pages and do all of this as your business page, right? So you're starting to show up as a business. That also applies to everything on here applies to both Facebook and Instagram. Hack number 4 is dominate your local community. The more that you know what's going on in your bullseye area, don't be too broad, but get focused on your bullseye area. The more that you know, the more you're going to be able to share and show up as a real estate professional that knows what's going on, but also show up in front of the community, because the more you post and show love to their posts, you're going to become very visible to that community as well. Hack number 5, join the Facebook groups. Are you going to join the real estate groups? You can if you want to, but that's not helping you accomplish this goal, right? Join the groups that contain your bullseye that you want to start to become visible to and add value. Hash number 6 is hashtags. There's 30 you can use. Do not be all about you. Then you're just showing up in front of your competition. Make sure you're using hashtags relevant to your who and your where. Hack number 7 is reels. Get comfortable, start grabbing your phone, capturing a day in the life of you, and just start throwing those out into the Reels section as well. And then hack number 8 is just share other people's content to your story. So don't get all caught up in feeling like you have to create your own story content all the time. Just see what's showing up on your newsfeed and start thinking not so much about, oh, is this an interest to me? This could be an interest to this community that I am wanting to support and attract. Start tossing that information into your stories. And then you'll kind of notice my note down at the bottom. I always say you want to make sure that you clean the house before you invite the party guests over. So the note with that is, step one before you start doing all of this, because this will start to help you become that shiny object and start to get visibility and start to attract that community you're wanting to attract. But the last thing you want to do is become that shiny object and then draw them over to take a look at your social media pages, and it just doesn't look good. It's not professional. You've got head cut off or blurry pictures. Spend some time optimizing your social media pages before you start to execute this strategy, because that's just an effort in futility, right? You do all this work and then you lose them because they're not impressed with what they see. So clean your house before you start to invite the party guests over. So that is all of the hacks. I did say at the very beginning, for those of you, hopefully you took all of these notes. I will share this presentation deck with you. Also, make sure you stay till the very, very end, because there is going to be a drawing for someone to win a $100 Topgolf gift card. But I also did mention in the beginning that for those of you that understand all of this, and your hand is raised, like, I have to do this, I've got to execute this. This is going to take me from not being seen to being seen by thousands and thousands of the right people that I want to attract. But I'm not sure that I can do this all by myself. I would possibly like to hire a professional to help me get all of this taken care of. And so that is really how I can help you go from where you are now to the next level, and really escalate it and help you take it to the next level, probably not only faster than you could yourself, but probably even better. Because I'm not a realtor. I don't want to be. I hire realtors for that job because that's the profession that they do best, right? I don't really want to have to try and take that on. So we understand when you take your business to the next level and you want to execute things, that it is important to look at hiring professionals to help you do that. So for those of you that are interested, how can I help you? I have something. This is my own proprietary. The name is trademarked. It is called a 30-day social media facelift. And that really allows me to work one-on-one with you. We have a strategy session. I help you unpack your bullseyes, your who and your where. And then you get to relax and do what you do best as a real estate professional, and allow my team, who is professional copywriters, graphic designers, keyword hashtag researchers, and we're basically going to clean the house for you, right? So we do all of that work that's going to really help you take your brand to the next level, because we have kind of the backdoor ways that we know what the algorithm absolutely needs, where that information has to go, the specific way of writing out your social media bio. And then you get tons of custom branded graphics with your colors, your headshot, your logo. We get all of that stuff for you, get tons of bonus video content and all of that. And, we are early August. You could have all of this done, up and running before definitely we start to get into the holiday season, which, don't even get me started on how important it is to have a good social media marketing strategy before the holidays, because these platforms give you so much content and give you the opportunity to leverage these social media platforms through the holidays. And I love being your coach and helping you through the holiday season, because you will also get the opportunity of knowing what is going on during the holidays, because as a bonus, I will give you the holiday calendar. So it's really important to know, when are all of these holidays happening? And it is, in addition to just knowing when they are happening, the other bonus that you get for working with me is we will actually give you all of these holiday graphics branded. So every month you will get a delivery of all of your custom branded graphics. Happy Dress Your Pet Day. So again, for those times where you're like, I want something out there that keeps me relevant with all of your strategic hashtags and everything, you will have at least all of the holidays taken care of for you as well. And the nice thing is we will have your colors, we'll have your branding, we'll have all your contact, your logo, your headshots, because that's what we get when we work on cleaning your house for you as a part of the social media facelift program as well. And then continuing to coach you, because the other gift that you get is actually 1 year free membership into my social media success coaching academy, because it is really important for me to set you up for long-term success. I am not saying all of this just to walk away and go, well, good luck. Hope you do well. that is not what has helped me stay successful and support all of my clients for 14 years. Is I want to see you long term, and I want to see you excel, and be the best at this as I know you possibly can. So that's a $1,200 value that you're actually getting as a part of this whole program. So for today, for those of you that have decided to join me today, you're going to get the whole 30-day social media facelift. You're going to get the calendar for a year. So rest of this year, all into 2025, a year of branded holiday posts, and me for a year being your accountability partner. So we meet once a quarter one-on-one and once a quarter as a group coaching as well. Because don't even get me started on AI. I didn't even talk about AI in this hacks presentation. So there's so much that I help you automate and become incredibly efficient in your social media marketing strategy and content engagement strategy with the coaching, and also incorporating AI. So for $19.97, this QR code will take you straight to getting this option to work together today. It's a $2,000 savings. If you walked up to me on the street and you wanted to get all of this for me, you'd be looking at almost $4,000, right? So hope to work with you, hope to take advantage. You take advantage of this. The easiest way is literally grab your phone, take a picture of this QR code. I will put this also, I know sometimes it's a little difficult for people to figure out the whole QR code thing. So I am going to just pop this into that same link. I just put that in the chat as well. And hopefully I will see some of you come through and have the opportunity to work with you. We will open it up for questions, but I think before we do that, do we want to do our giveaway now? Talitha, do we have a winner?
Yes, we can do it. I actually am going to do it live here. But again, I just want to thank you, Karen, for being a part of this month's monthly marketing. Hair Title does a class like this every third Monday of the month. Next month for September, we have it on September 16th, and it's going to be DIY social video content with Heather Hukari from Video Service Hub.
I love Heather.
Oh, good. You know her.
Great. Oh yeah, we've worked together for years. She's great.
Awesome. Yeah. That's great. So follow Hair Title on Facebook or Instagram to get all the updates on the upcoming classes. And I will go ahead and I got my bucket here. All right. We've got Janice Taylor. So Janice, if you want to shoot me your contact information, I will get this gift card to you.
Congratulations, Janice. That's awesome.
Congratulations. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So let me just scroll through what we've got in the comments here. If we've got any questions. Also, if anybody wants to just unmute themselves and ask a question, I'm happy to answer that as well.
I don't think you put your contact information in this chat. It'd be good to have it there.
Mine, Gary?
No, hers. Title.
Oh, Talitha. Yeah, Talitha, put your contact info in there.
Sorry,
I'm going to put it in the chat here for everybody.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Gary. He's one of my biggest fans right there. Gary and I work together. He's one of my clients. I love having him on here as well. And JC, thank you for your kind words. Yes, Nicole, it is a lot to think about and implement. So I completely understand. If I can help you with it, please don't hesitate to reach out. And please, guys, do make sure that you're following me on all the social media platforms. You can find me either as Karen Liz Albert or Behind Your Curtain. I'm always putting out new tips and tricks and content. So, would love to be able to continue to support you. Even if we don't get an opportunity to work one-on-one together, I'd love to be able to support you going further as well. Let's see if we've got any other questions, anybody else? If not, then I will go ahead and let you all continue through your day. All done? Okay, fantastic. Well, somebody said to me in the beginning that if you don't get any questions, it means that you did an amazing job at teaching. So I will take it as that. Thanks again so much, everybody, for joining today. I really appreciate it. Again, reach out if I can be of any assistance. Stay safe out there, and hopefully to see you again in the social media world. Take care.